Okay, so we have a lot to break down right now because that is a singles Woobat in a Pokemon battle. So we have a comment right here from Jason. Woobat got a buff in Gen 7 and it's OP. So I went to double check his math and it checks out because look at this. We actually got a buff of 10 hit points for only Woobat, but Swoobat didn't receive it. Which means that Woobat is now a more viable tank than Swoobat because Eviolite makes it tankier than the Swoobat, and like substantially in a really weird way. So look at this, Swoobat has 67 on hit. Did they put the wrong Pokedex number in when they changed the stats around, or what? Because we have 55 defense, 55 special defense, 65 on the hit, or 67 on hit points. I mean, it's only 2 more hit points on evolution. And then 12 on defense and special defense, but then we factor in Eviolite, and the hit points difference is pretty substantial as well, because 10 base hit points on top from 55 to 65 is a pretty drastic percentage increase, so I don't even know what to think. And also, these Pokemon get access to the Simple, so in theory, every Simple Pokemon has access to a Minimize. I'm trying to figure all this out, because we know Swoobat's busted. Like, you do that fling strat, you fling Salac Berry, give it, 2 times its speed, or actually, yeah, you fling a Salac Berry onto it while it's holding a weakness policy, and then it gets 4 times special attack, 4 times, or not 4 times, 4 stages. It gets +4 attack, +4 special attack, +2 speed, turn 1. And more if it wants to actually use a move. So it does some ridiculous stuff. Skuntank just comes in for the explosion as well. There's like no setup, there's no supporting it. It just wants to do things. Normal jump Skuntank, I can respect that. Unfortunately, Empoleon's tanky and resisted it, so we don't really get to see much happen out of that. But I mean, that's what we're dealing with right now, guys. Just bringing Skuntank only to explode like that, and then we go into the Woobat. Eviolite Woobat, tankier than Swoobat, and it has the Calm Mind. I mean, I thought it got access to the Amnesia, so it looks like we're going Calm Mind, Stored Power, getting as much damage as possible. Amnesia instant +4 on that Simple. It's pretty ridiculous. It's already on those +2s. Ice Beam from an Empoleon onto the Woobat. How much damage does it take? I think that's less than a third, right? Or actually, that's more than a third. That's something. Like, it's on the line. That depends on where the RNG damage rolls go. But now it's just going to keep going for it. So that's going to be a special attack rise once again. And Empoleon with the Ice Beam. Now it's going to do substantially less. And Swoobat actually holding on to a 72 base speed. Not the worst, but I guess when you're dealing with tanks, it's alright. And it gets access to the Roost. So, I mean, rip opponent. Also, because of the Roost and the outspeed, it's now grounded. So that means the opponent is actually going to do less damage, but decides to go for, is that the Corkscrew Crash? Z move. So, I mean, that's actually kind of unfortunate that the Roost turn is the one where the Ice Beam changes don't matter, but Corkscrew Crash comes in. Guessing that's for the Flash Cannon. And would have been a lot of damage, but I mean, we already have mad amounts of special defense. Big hit, but not big enough. Woobat's already roosting up. I would use Roost again, because crits are bad, but also because if he throws out that Ice Beam, you want to do as little damage as possible, and you already maxed out on the special, so boom, that's pretty crazy. So what else is this Woobat carrying? It's alright. It's got the Stored Power. What does it have outside of this? So once it goes max, so +6 on special attack, special defense with that Calm Mind, I don't think that's going to be enough to all of a sudden turn damage into KOs. So Empoleon gets another Ice Beam, and yeah, suddenly it's doing substantially less damage. And the opponent's going to withdraw. Alright, is he withdrawing on a setup turn, or is he withdrawing into death? Because things could happen right now. Stored Power, wow. Was it really this simple? We don't need any other shenanigans? Okay, it looks like it was that simple. We don't need to do anything. Also, the camera doesn't even know what to do with Woobat when it hits the field. So Empoleon's him. I mean, we already know that Stored Power is ridiculous. Aqua Jet, that's right, hit that physical attack. But Swoobat, or not Swoobat, I won't keep calling it Swoobat, but it is the Woobat. Stored Power, boom, enough to take out the Empoleon. So Explosion to +6 Calm Mind, Stored Power is like true death. And then Venusaur, is Woobat going to outspeed? Or are the opponent's going to forfeit? I refuse to believe it was that easy. What? I guess it was max defense as well, because that Aqua Jet didn't do a lot. We also have another battle, so don't worry, guys. I'm going to show you guys another battle. I'm just trying to speculate what's happening. Okay, so Woobat gets a buff in the 7th generation, becomes tankier than Swoobat, Simple does shenanigans, and I guess just max out the hit points, max out the defense. Eviolite, I mean, it needs something else on that defense. Like, it's gotta need something else on that defense to survive. Because, I mean, it gets kind of tanky with that Eviolite, but I wouldn't say it's tanky enough. And then, like, it eats hits pretty hard. But, I mean, the Eviolite's still good. Like, I don't even know what to think of all this. Alright, Torkoal's gonna come in. Can Woobat tank the Torkoal in the sunlight? I mean, it kind of gets to, because Skuntank comes in, and it's just gonna explode. Torkoal's going, oh, wow. Is that even real right now? Oh, Sucker Punch. Whoa. This is like the next level of next level stuff. So Skuntank comes in with that Sucker Punch, does a little bit of damage to the Torkoal. Torkoal's gonna flinch because of the Stench ability. And then Poison Jab does big hit. Torkoal flinches again. That's some luck right there. Well, I thought Stench was only like 10%. Okay. So this is definitely switching things up. Dude, how unfortunate would that be? I don't even know. I was about to say if Explosion causes the opponent to flinch. Never mind, that doesn't mean anything. Also, I had a hiccup right there because drinking lots of Mountain Dew. And Skuntank OP. Like, dude, that was just wrecked. And then Skuntank... Is that... Okay. Dude, you're my new favorite person that I've ever seen. If this is like Stench outspeeds Skuntank that also has a bright powder. So that means it's like chance to flinch into chance to miss, just like that. And then you win battles like this. Like... and then throwing out the explosion just cause. So, tank Pokemon gets softened up by the explosion. Woobat comes in and it's free. My thought... Oh wait, never mind. We knew it was normal gym. Then how did... Inferno actually has low accuracy? That's weird. I don't even think the normal gym matters, honestly. Like, from what we've already seen. But the Sucker Punch Stench is kind of broken. So what I can gather from this with the Woobat is, or what I was thinking was going to happen is that we explode, Torkoal doesn't die because it has a high amount of defense, but then it doesn't get to do a lot of damage with the eruption, and then Woobat gets set up. Nah, the Skuntank just wrecked that Torkoal. Woobat comes in with that Calm Mind, it's getting free set up. It doesn't matter what the Fortress does. Now, Fortress could explode and hurt, so maybe I might want to take that back. Fortress has Zap Cannon, Woobat's going to avoid because accuracy. That wouldn't have been, like, I think we were seeing more damage off that Empoleon, to be honest, because there's not a lot of damage on the Fortress, even with Zap Cannon, super effective hit. I mean, Zap Cannon isn't even that much damage. Like, technically, Zap Cannon is only 5 less power than the Thunderbolt before the nerf. Not much. And it's only like 10% more powerful, or less power, and Thunder's 10% more powerful than it. So, I mean, it's not, like, you hear Zap Cannon, you think about, like, how ridiculous of it is, 50% accuracy, but it's still not that powerful of a move. So, I mean, Iron Defense setup, Woobat's gonna beat that, like, all day long, because then it goes into stored power, and then you lose. And then you lose. So, Fortress has a decent amount of special, but doesn't matter in this case. And now the opponent goes into Frostlass. Alright, Frostlass, it's fast, it can do some damage, but is it going to do enough damage? Shadow Ball from the Frostlass. Ice Beam would be more damage. Woobat. That's what happens when you get +6. So yeah, I guess you just wait. You bring in Woobat on a tank, you get a free +2. They try to do something, you get another free +2, and then you win the game. That quick. That's right, Torkoal died. And then that Skuntank was just devastating. Fancy. So Stench only is 10%, which means those were some RNG shenanigans right there, but I'll allow it because that was funny. Also, outside of battle, actually has a pretty interesting effect. Chance of encountering wild Pokemon is decreased by 50%. Might want to carry that. It also makes a lot of sense. So yeah, I think Stench needs more support. If no other Pokemon gets Stench in like the 8th generation or in some kind of rework of Pokemon abilities, they should buff it to like 25%. Now that seems like 1 in 4 actually seems a little too broken just as a passive ability, but I mean, I want to see something different on that. So yeah, it's just Muck, which is slow, Skunk, like it's all on slow Pokemon. How are you going to get flinches when it's slow? So you need that Sucker Punch or something like that. Gloom just carrying Stench as well. I want to see Tailwind or Trick Room Gloom with like the Stench, and it does not stack with King's Rock Razor Fang, fun stuff like that. So let's get into this battle and see what happens. Well, Cradily, Porygon 2, even the Gengar, like. Gengar is going to do massive damage on Shadow Ball, but I want to believe that Gengar actually can't one-shot. Which would be hilarious if it's actually that tanky just because of Eviolite and a small little hit points buff. I don't know what to think of the world anymore. That's it. I don't know what to think of the world anymore. Because it's that easy to run the Woobat. I still don't even know what that last move is. Skuntank comes in with that Poison Jab, as we have seen. So yeah, sometimes it decides to explode, other times it's just cool with using a poison jab. Stealth rocks kind of matters because that's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt the Woobat initially, but not the worst thing. And Cradily, going to get a little bit of leftovers healing. I actually want to go and check out the Woobat a little more. I want to know that last move that it could have in its moveset, unless we see it this game. So yeah, it's going to avoid the rock slide right there. And looks like Skuntank not getting the hacks that we saw last time, but still doing considerable damage. My goodness. So Cradily is going to be withdrawn right there, and then we're going into the Gengar. This is where things get a little more bad. We'll say it. We'll say this is where things get sketchy. So Poison Jab on the Gengar, not going to do much damage. We're going to see the Sucker Punch from the Skuntank. That's going to fail, though, so it's Sub-Gengar. Ooh. Substall. Are we going to... What's this going to do? What is this going to do is the question. So that's where the Sucker Punch comes in. Going to break the sub. Gotta keep spamming it. Gotta get the damage down. Focus Blast. Wow, so this Gengar, it's kind of set. Hits Skuntank kind of hard, but not hard enough. Now we're into some mind games. We got Life Orb Gengar. We got Sub Shenanigans. Withdraw into the Cradily. And then that's going to be Skuntank using Poison Jab. So yeah, Poison Jab into that read just in case Gengar goes for another substitute. Then Sucker Punch didn't happen. And then Poison Jab Sucker Punch means that Gengar loses its sub, loses that health for free. So the opponent tried to tank it into the Cradily. Tries to withdraw Cradily again for that Gengar. But I mean, we already know Poison Jab is what's being used against Cradily. So that means, yeah, Gengar switching into a Poison Jab. That didn't really work out too well for the opponent. Not enough damage, but maybe trying to do that to like reverse double mind game. Gengar's Cursed Body though comes into play, and now that's gonna be, I have no idea what's going on. I have no idea what's going on. Skuntank has a Sucker Punch, decides to throw it out just in case. Doesn't really get anything done with that. Cradily though will be affected by Sucker Punch. I get, is it trying to like PP stall Sucker Punch? I don't know. Skuntank is sitting on Play Rough though. So Play Rough will be enough to not finish off the Cradily, and Cradily has to recover. So this is a very, very odd game. Very odd game. I was also starting to think, I'm like, man, you know what'd be cool? Like, this more works for Swoobat, and Skuntank just gonna use Explosion. Like, fine. Screw it. Gonna explode anyways. Probably not gonna be enough to take down the Cradily, because Rock type reduction. Like, we're not seeing that normal gym do enough. And I guess if you just want to soften up the opponent, probably, I mean, it does work both ways. If it's a tank Pokemon, they take considerable damage, but they don't die. If it's a sweeper Pokemon, they might actually die to that, so that means you're removing a sweeper threat for the Woobat setup. But now you bring in Woobat. Like, okay, cool. Your Skuntank dies while Cradily is on the field. That's a free Amnesia, or not Amnesia, that's a free Calm Mind. Gengar comes in, does a hit, that's Calm Mind, you roost Calm Mind, and then we're fine. Even with that Stealth Rock damage, Woobat should still be fine. And the opponent doesn't decide to switch out immediately into the Gengar because, like, oh, it's just a Woobat. Dude's throwing the game right now. I'm going to use Rock Slide and this thing's going to get wrecked. But little does the opponent know that Woobat received a hit points buff and runs that sick Eviolite. That's still a lot of damage, though. So it is about, like, the speed, though. And, I mean, you outspeed into the Roost, you lose that weakness, and it doesn't matter anymore. I would double Roost. Get as much hit points out of it as possible. Calm Mind, double Roost. Opponent finally goes into Gengar. By then it's too late because you're already stacking way too much stats. It's like, and that also looks like that Rock Slide did more, or did less than half of that reduction from the Roost. We're just seeing some weird damage numbers being thrown around. So that's gonna be a withdrawal of the Cradily into Gengar. Was it a risk? Because I mean that means that's just full hit points on the Woobat. Calm Mind. Alright, so Calm Mind. Now we're going to be seeing okay, so we're seeing 3 times on defenses. So 1.5 times more damage, or less damage than the super hit, or something. I don't know, the numbers stopped making sense. I just wanted to see a full health comparison at +2. Ooh, that's actually still a lot of damage. That's still a lot of damage. But Woobat came in with that stored power, knowing that this would be the only chance to take out the Gengar, and gets the successful KO. See, it feels like just a little weak physically, which could put it away on those Calm Minds, but I think that Calm Mind might have been needed to live then. So Porygon 2 is going to download for that attack boost, which is going to be just fine. Woobat should probably take the safe option for that heal. Healing into really anything could work, because we see Porygon, they run the Thunderbolt, they run the Shadow Ball, or the Ice Beam, but we've already seen that, like, the Woobat Roost just works. Boom, no damage whatsoever. One more Calm Mind, +6 into just absurd damage on that stored power, and that's going to be game. So what's stored power at? 260 base power into 4 times special attack. Even though Woobat doesn't have much for special attack, it stops mattering at that point. Super effective hit, doesn't matter. And I was about to say, can we one-shot the Porygon? So that'd be a really good test to see how much base power scales on the stats like that. Porygon 2 is going to use Trick Room. Don't really see too much of a change right there. Thunderbolt, alright. Yeah, switching between Thunderbolt, Ice Beam doesn't really matter too much. Woobat does get access to the Charm. It kind of scales. So, I mean, you could use that if you're feeling a hard enough physical threat. But in the face of Cradily, it's like, yeah, I'm not going to Charm Cradily because then he switches out and I didn't get my Calm Minds I needed. So that's something. Rock Slide. See how Rock Slide does more damage than is comfortable. But Woobat has its stored power, and then that is going to be just massive amounts of damage onto Cradily. And there we go. That is the game. So I'm trying to figure out, like, I'm trying to run through the list of, like, what could happen in my mind. Like, what does Woobat need to be even more broken? What does Swoobat need? Because technically you can run, like, Ganlon Berry, get a +4 on your defense, and that sets you for life right there. Gaining stats with that ×4 with the +6 is still pretty necessary. So like Calm Mind versus Amnesia. Amnesia gets you tankier quicker, but I mean Calm Mind puts you those good damage numbers. It's not like there's anything that boosts special attack and defense. That would be just way too busted on Pokemon that gets access to the stored power. And yeah, like I don't see anything that benefits it defensively. So I don't know what that last move that Woobat's running. And it'd be interesting if it got something that kind of worked for it in the future. So yeah, guys, pretty crazy. Woobat also gets access to the Attract. That would be something. Attract shenanigans. Woobat then sets up and wins. So if you guys enjoyed Fan Fridays for the week, hope you guys have a great day, have a great weekend, have a great week, have a great everything. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week. Yeah, kind of botched the ending like I usually do on Fan Fridays, but that was crazy. It's so free and easy.